Welcome, everyone, to the Plant Wisdom Collective. I am Dr. Taryn Forelli, and I'm the Chief Science Officer here at Traditional Medicinals. I am excited to share this journey with you. Herbal medicine has been a passion of mine for many years, and here at Traditional Medicinals, we are committed to making herbal education accessible to everyone. So, what is the Plant Wisdom Collective? It's a free, easy-to-follow education series designed to bring the art and science of herbal medicine to life, no matter where you're at on your journey. Importantly, this program is more than just about learning. It's about incorporating herbal wisdom into your life in ways that feel practical, natural, and nourishing. To guide us, I am thrilled to introduce Guido Massé. He's a clinical herbalist. He is the head formulator here at Traditional Medicinals, and he is someone who brings deep knowledge and a love of plants to everything he does. Guido, it's such a pleasure to have you here today. I'd love for you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your journey to herbalism.
Sure, and thanks, Taryn. It's great to be here. And I'm an herbalist and a scientist, and I came to herbs early in my life, mostly because I grew up with them in my native Italy. Herbalism reminds me that I live in a world that is full of living, wise beings that to a certain extent care for me and care for us. And so if you're thinking about why you might want to engage a little bit with the Plant Wisdom Collective, I think there's three big reasons. First of all, herbs have undeniable benefits.
Absolutely.
We have clear traditional knowledge articulating this, and through the lens of modern science, we're adding additional really fascinating layers about how herbs work. Second, I think that this reminder that the world is alive and wise and caring and that we're connected to it, that's one of the biggest gifts that herbalism can offer, this sense of reconnection to community, not just the community of plants, but our community of people too, where we share herbs as sort of ways to stitch culture together and provide meaning. But finally, the third point for me is that, especially in our modern world, I firmly believe we need more herbalists. And that's why we need you. And that to me is the biggest reason why I hope that you can join us through this series of videos and through the broader community of the Plant Wisdom Collective.
Thank you. That's a beautiful invitation to everyone out there. Again, accessibility is going to be a theme that we talk about a lot, as is this importance of the connection to nature and the way that the plants remind us of that, something as simple as a cup of tea. And so before we get into the details of the program, I just wanted to take a step back and talk a little bit about the vision of it. Why did we create the Plant Wisdom Collective? Well, first of all, Traditional Medicinals is rooted in education. One of our co-founders, Rosemary Gladstar, who's a very well-known herbalist, she really was inspired to educate people through a product line, to tell them about herbalism and to make sure that herbalism could reach many, many people. And in fact, today, Traditional Medicinals is sold in just about every grocery store in America. So it is a very accessible way to have herbs in your life. The other piece is that we have been doing herbal education here at Traditional Medicinals for many years now for our employees. And so Guido has been leading that program here for us. And so we're just so thrilled now that he can help everyone else take them on their own journey.
So as we explore these topics, we'll be able to bring in some practical things, like we could be able to actually look at some herbs together. I'll show you a couple ways of preparing them. And sometimes, Taryn, you and I will sit and, actually dissect and look at some of these herbs in detail when we're talking about how to recognize good quality. Other times you'll just see us here having a conversation like we are today.
One of the exciting pieces of herbalism is that it really does bridge modern science with traditional practices. And so we're going to celebrate that. And then the other piece is really reminding everyone that this is about empowerment. And when you have herbal knowledge, you are really empowered to kind of take charge of your health and your well-being and to partner with the plants, oftentimes that are in your own backyard. with that in mind, can you share a little bit more about what people will actually learn as they journey through the Plant Wisdom Collective?
Yeah, we'll hit some really important areas that give you both really practical knowledge about how to be empowered in your daily life to use medicinal plants for yourself and for those you love, but also a little bit of context. So we'll start with a dive into the roots of herbalism and the global herbal systems of medicine, as well as the indigenous traditional knowledge that serves as the foundation for all of herbalism. And it's really neat to see that across the world, plant people are very similar. Beyond this, it's really neat to see how the lens of modern science has been applied to this ancient tradition. Talking about mechanisms of action, talking about some of the chemistry of plants. This is fascinating, beautiful microcosm stuff, and we'll delve into that a little bit too. The core will be an introduction to 10 of our favorite herbal allies. These include herbs that are really well known, like peppermint, maybe some mushrooms that you may not have heard of, like reishi, and some incredible tonics, sort of daily allies like hawthorn. But we also, throughout this, also want to connect you to using your senses to be able to understand when an herb is really high quality. You can do that with your eyes, with your sense of smell, with your tongue. And we want to help you figure out, how to really tell what good peppermint is like, how to tell what good chamomile is like. And what we'll discover along the way is to really achieve that quality so that the benefits can follow, you have to pay attention to where the herbs came from, to the people and the places where these plants grow. They almost form a unit together where traditional knowledge and know-how is coupled with very ancient connection to land to deliver these incredible allies.
Absolutely. And just to remind everyone, the purpose of traditional medicinals is to inspire active connection to plant wisdom in service of people and the planet. And so, yeah, it is very much about how can we help people feel better in their lives, but also how do we give back to the plants and the planet and the people taking care of the plant.
Yeah, I want to just say that I'm really grateful for Traditional Medicinals making this series of courses accessible for free to folks. Plants give themselves very generously to us. I'm grateful that we can offer this to you all also to take at your own pace for free. And I'm not going to be, assigning a lot of homework or checking to see if you completed assignments. But I will say, I think as you mentioned earlier, Taryn, herbalism is an embodied art. And what that means is that while we can get a theoretical understanding of the benefits of a plant or the quality that shows what truly good peppermint looks like, it pales in comparison to actually bringing those plants into our bodies through sort of daily habits. That level of intimacy and personal embodied connection, that's how I learn best. And that's how I feel like the plants' voices come through. Right. Better than me talking about it, right? You actually feeling it. Wow, there's something really powerful to that.
Absolutely. It's not about memorizing everything that we're going to say here. It's much more about experiencing it. This is a form of direct learning. And that is a way to have that knowledge kind of stick in your body. And so from that moment that you engage your senses with the plant to that moment of, wow, I'm feeling better. Or I've noticed that my mood has lifted. I want to invite everyone to really pay attention because sometimes these shifts that happen they're not verbal per se, because the language of plants is something that is more subtle sometimes, and even, I would say, multidimensional.
For sure. And I think what we're trying to encourage folks to do, Taryn, is slow down a little and open up to being able to hear the voice of plants on their own terms. Plants just have a way of capturing us and bringing us in, whether it's a bouquet of flowers or a cup of tea. Right. So in the end, if you can find a way to, despite how complex herbal medicine can be, start with something really, really simple, you'll see that your practice will build over time. And what initially might have seemed complex or inaccessible will begin to feel more familiar. And my hope is at the end of this course, you'll feel like you are an herbalist. You're beginning at least to walk on this path. And while it can be super complicated, it's not hard to start. I don't know if you have any suggestions or thoughts there.
Oh, sure. I mean, of course, herbalism is not about knowing all of the plants. It's about really developing close intimacy with as many that really speak to you. And so, one way might just be to start with one plant, right? Something like dandelion. Yeah, sometimes when you just introduce that one plant into your life, you start to notice, like, so your digestion, if it's off, you're going to notice. So if it's good, you're also going to notice that, yeah, that's probably dandelion that's doing that. So that's a great one. But, I know we're going to talk about herbal allies as part of that module. And so I think whichever of those plants kind of speak to the listeners is an invitation to go on a journey with it, a real opportunity to tune into how you feel.
Yeah. And Taryn, I love how you brought up this idea of tuning into your digestive system. We'll talk a little bit about that. And as you get to know yourself a little bit, you'll get to know that there's plants that can provide support and that can act as these allies for you when you're experiencing subtle shifts in all of these body systems and more. And as a result, I think, I'll say this a lot, you'll hear me say this a lot, you'll find that we do better with plants by our side. And that's what really my hope is for this course. You'll get the practical knowledge to be able to apply botanical remedies in your life. You'll be able to take a moment to attune yourself to the feelings that are happening inside your body, whether it's your digestion or your mood or your circulation, you name it. And you'll start to be able to put all that together in a way that creates a habitual daily practice of connection, which to me is the most beautiful gift that herbalism provides.
I couldn't agree more. So one of the things we want to invite everyone to do as they come along the journey is to engage in the content, to comment, to share your experience, inspire others with what you might be kind of learning or experiencing in your own life, and make it feel really alive for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what you have to share and be able to engage and respond to that a little bit. So we'll have not just this core series of videos, but also if you follow us on social media, extra tidbits, interviews, behind the scenes, and even more on the practical way in which you can bring herbs into your life.
It's all about making education accessible and inviting to everyone. So please join us. We're excited to have you here, and we will see you in the next episode.